Welcome to the Nonno Giorgio and Rory Cooking Italian for Weight Loss channel. We have entrees, desserts, tips and tricks. We welcome you to our channel. We hope you make some of these recipes, enjoy them with your friends and family. Today we're making Mexican enchiladas. If you like this video, hit the like button, thumbs up, below the video. If you haven't yet subscribed, hit the subscribe button, followed by the bell, all, to get notified of all new videos we produce when they come out. Thank you. Here, the enchiladas are straight out of the oven. Hi, and welcome back to the Nonno Giorgio and Rory Cooking Italian for Weight Loss. Today we're not cooking Italian, we're cooking Mexican enchiladas. And we do this because, all of us, we have our favorite foods on the holidays, whether you have a Christmas ham or turkey, or you do Italian lasagna, whatever. And after the holidays, we want something different. Maybe some Chinese, some Thai, some Mexican. So we're doing a Mexican recipe today. And it's an enchilada. We don't buy store-bought sauce. Everything's from scratch. And Rory's going to take us through.
Oh boy. Okay. So there are two parts to this recipe. One is the sauce, and the other one is the actual enchilada, which is made with cheese in this case and tortillas. So we're using half flour tortillas and half corn, and we'll do half and half for people who, some people like corn better. There's a version of this in Mexico called enchiladas suizas, which is made with flour tortillas and just white cheese and a white sauce, but this, we're making the red sauce today. So we're going to start out making sauteing onion and garlic, and like we almost always start, and then we're going to make a paste of guajillo and ancho chiles, and these are a couple little chipotles. And I like chipotles because they're sort of smoky and they taste very Mexican, that flavor. We're going to stuff the with queso fresco, and at the end we're going to, after cooking the enchiladas in a 350 oven, we're going to put some just regular shredded Mexican mixed cheese on top, and then we're going to taste it all with refried beans and this beautiful guacamole that George just whipped up.
And you can look up in our Volume 1 book or our videos online for the guacamole. It's there.
Yeah. Okay, can't wait to get
started. All right, let's get started. Like a lot of our recipes, this starts with diced onions and garlic. And I put them in a frying pan with a little bit of olive oil. I always put salt. That salt helps bring the flavors out.
Okay, so I'm prepping the chilies. They're dry, and so you have to, re-humidify them. And so I've got a pot of water heating up. It's actually a cup of water, and George is finishing up the sauce ingredients with the onion and garlic. And then when the water is boiling, I'm going to put the pieces of chili in there and soften them up and sort of reconstitute them. The chipotles we usually get in a can, and they work fine, but I like the guajillo and the other one in dried. And a lot of recipes for enchiladas call for chile de arbol. I just can't always find chile de arbol, so we keep these other ones on hand, and they work just fine.
one thing you should do, this is our throwaway bowl. They're important. I first saw that on the Rachel Ray show. And you know, you don't want to be having a trash can next to you because you got this wonderful smell of onions. So who needs trash near it? But you don't want to keep making trips to your trash can. So this is a place where when you're cutting, dicing, and you have throwaway stuff, just throw it in the bowl, and then at the end dump it and clean the bowl.
And you know, we're kind of particular about cleaning up as we go also, so it keeps the kitchen a little cleaner rather than just putting the detritus on the counter and, you know, having garbage around. So it's a good habit, but everybody has their own way of doing things. So they're just suggestions. So. Is my water boiling, George?
Not yet.
Okay.
The onions are starting to look good.
Oh, the smell is always amazing, isn't it?
Do you need a bowl for
It's
this?
so good. Yeah, probably would be good to transfer it over to the water. Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much. Okay, so we got the chilies chopped up, and the water should be pretty hot, I think.
I see steam. It's not
Okay.
boiling yet.
Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is get the cheese ready for the filling. And this is Mexican queso fresco, which has a wonderful sort of dry, a little bit acidy flavor. And so it's perfect for filling things and using it with tortillas, which are so bland. So we cut that up.
And as you watch this video, let us know in the comments, do you prefer flour tortillas or corn tortillas?
Yes.
And of the typical, some people call them Tex-Mex, but they're actually Mexican because you do see them in Mexico. Do you prefer enchiladas, chili rellenos, tacos, and tacos soft taco or hard taco? A quesadilla? So tell us what kind of Mexican food you like and what kind of tortillas.
Yeah. You're giving people homework, George.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably we all don't have that much to do right now anyway, right?
Okay, the water looks like it's boiling.
Okay, would you put the chilies in there?
All of this?
Yep, and give it a little stir. And then take that off the stove and let them sit for 15 minutes to steep in the water. So we're well on our way. This cheese is actually, reminds me a lot of feta cheese also. And if you have a recipe that calls for queso fresco, here I wouldn't use feta because this is kind of like the main item with the tortillas. But if you have something that calls for queso fresco, like sprinkled on top or something, you could probably use feta if you happen to have it in your refrigerator.
Onions are sauteing. You can see they're starting to get soft. We'll get them nice and soft. We have it on a medium setting of heat. And then over here we have our water that was boiling. We put our peppers in there, our chilies, and we're letting them sit now off the heat, and they'll come back soft and ready to be used. Okay.
Okay, so George got this garlic and onion just beautiful. It's just kind of a little toasty around the edges. and we're going to put it in the blender. Mexican cooking uses blenders a lot because they make the sauces that way. Okay.
And you don't have to buy commercial room deodorizers. Just cook onion. It is so sweet.
And this is kind of our chili tea, I call it, because you had the chili steeping in the water to get the flavor out. Because they were dry to begin with. So here we go. We're gonna do our sauce.
You basically just want to make sure there's no big pieces.
Yeah.
Things got blended. It should be a sauce.
Okay, and now we're gonna run it through a sieve just to get rid of the dry, the dry chilies have a little cascara, like a little dry coating on them.
Yeah,
so.
what she said. And we're gonna heat it back up in this pot. We need a little bit in our glass cooking pan so that they don't stick to the bottom.
We're going to put some in here. Good idea.
Just saves pouring some.
Yep.
Now this next part, if you have kids cooking with you, you don't want them to be doing it. You want to have an adult do it because we're going to be dipping tortillas in the hot sauce, and the pan's hot and the stove's hot. We don't need to add human parts to the sauce. And oh, by the way, here's our wine. And like a lot of our recipes, none of it went in the recipe. I wonder where it went.
We cook with wine most of the time, right?
We cook with wine.
Okay.
But you know, when you look at this from people who want to lose a little weight after the holidays, this is not, there's no cream, there's no heavy cream, there's no butter. The tortillas are light compared to, bread. Have one or two, It's all about quantity, not what you eat.
Meaning low quantity.
Low quantity.
Not high quantity.
Just have a little bit of what you enjoy. Eat it slowly and savor it.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to move this over to our... Usually you want to warm up the tortillas a little bit because otherwise they can crack when they bend, when you fold them.
And we take and put them in a wet paper towel and microwave them on power level 4 for about 40 seconds.
Yeah.
And that seems to be perfect.
The microwave is great for some things, and it is great for heating up tortillas. So...
Look at how good that looks. The hardest part of this recipe is not eating it before you assemble it and cook it.
Really? Okay, so now we're going to put some of this queso fresco in it. And okay, and we're going to roll them up. Hopefully they're not too hot anymore. No, they're fine. Okay. Look at that. Beautiful.
These are better known as Mexican manicotti.
Hey, George, not everything and everyone revolves around Italy.
Yes.
Okay?
It's true. È vero. I don't know. You think Rory's ever done this before?
I have to tell you a funny story though, because I haven't made them in so long. that I had to ask my friend Carol Hernandez Hill if she remembered whether enchiladas actually need garlic, because you know some Mexican food doesn't use garlic, and she didn't remember, so we had to call her cuñada, and her cuñada is from a little town outside of Mexico City, and she cooks a lot, and so she said un poquito de ajo. So, you know, she's a cook like I am, and it's a little bit of that and a little bit of the other without too much measuring. So, okay, here's our last flour one. And now we're gonna do some corn tortillas. These are very delicate, so they happen to be very skinny. And so we're just gonna keep doing the same thing for a while, and then we'll show you when we have it ready for the oven.
Okay, so we've got the enchiladas made. We're a little low on sauce, but that's okay.
Yep.
We made more because we're going to give some to our neighbors. So we made more than we really wanted to make.
But you just calculate for next time, make a little more, but they're still going to be delicious. Okay, so George, you've got the oven ready to go?
The oven's ready. We put the cheese on now?
Yeah, we're good with that.
And then we do a little tin foil.
Mm-hmm, yeah. So I have 2 cups of the just the shredded Mexican style cheese, and we sprinkle it on top. You know, these have to be cheesy. And we're gonna save a little bit of cheese for the second half of the cooking. Okay.
So we can put some tin foil and pop her in the oven. The oven's ready at 350.
Perfect.
And we'll be back. We wanted to show you the guacamole we made. A little trick is you don't throw the stones out. You put the stones in the guacamole, and the stones actually give off a gas that prevents the guacamole from turning brown. Now, after a day or so it's going to turn brown, but it'll last a lot longer. Now we get to taste these great enchiladas with refried beans and guacamole. Okay,
Hi.
we're at our favorite part of the show, the tasting. And we're going to taste our enchiladas, guacamole, and refried beans.
Yum.
Of course, we want to taste the enchiladas first.
Yeah. So I don't know if you've ever seen a movie called Like Water for Chocolate, but it's the most wonderful depiction of the flavors and the spices in Mexican food. And I think it's one of the first movies that talked about food and cooking as emotions. And if you haven't seen Like Water for Chocolate, you've got to watch it.
These are delicious. So you have a craving for Mexican food, make your own. You know, don't worry about going out. Don't buy store-bought frozen stuff. It's not good.
No.
Make your own. It tastes so good. Your kitchen smells so good. And remember, our cookbooks are out. So on Amazon, you can get the ebook, the electronic one, or you can get the black and white or the color print copy. And on Apple, you can get the iBook, an electronic version. So for now,
Ciao. Have a wonderful week.
ciao. And arrivederci.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hasta luego.
We hope you have enjoyed our channel. If you have, please hit the subscribe button below and the bell next to it so you get notified of new videos when they come out.